Just ahead on CTV News.
Today, the trial resumes in the 2023 disappearance and death of Miriam Toure Silla. I'm Bryce Parker. We'll give you all those updates coming up on CTV News.
And the new interim school superintendent has his first day on the job. Plus, Maryland officials and nonprofits unite to combat elder financial abuse. Those stories and more coming up on CTV News.
Good evening. This is CTV News for June 16th. I'm Marquette Shepard.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping our news tonight, we have updates in the murdered trial of a Greenbelt teacher that occurred back in 2023.
CTV's Bryce Parker is at the courthouse in Upper Marlboro with the latest.
Today, Harold Landon III was back in court following a weekend-long recess. Landon currently faces multiple charges, including first-degree murder in connection to the death and disappearance of Miriam Toure Silla. Silla, a former teacher at Dora Kennedy French Immersion School, disappeared back in July of 2023 following a routine evening walk near her Greenbelt condo. Prince George's County Police found her dismembered body in Clinton 2 days later, decapitated and missing all 4 extremities. Nearly 2 years later, investigators are still unable to find her missing body parts. Since the trial began last Tuesday, jurors have heard dozens of testimonies, including one from Silla's older sister who traveled from the Ivory Coast to be present during the trial. Now, moments ago, the prosecution rested after calling to the stand multiple detectives, police officers, and an assistant medical examiner with the state of Maryland. The trial will resume tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Stay with CTV News, and we continue to give you updates on this developing story. In Upper Marlboro, I'm Bryce Parker, CTV News.
All right, Bryce, thanks so much. Meanwhile, just days before the end of the academic school year, a leadership shakeup hits the Prince George's County school system. Superintendent Millard House II will no longer lead the county school system. His decision to part ways with PGCPS comes after a vote of no confidence in House from the county's teachers union. While the county begins its search for a new leader, Dr. Sean Joseph, who used to work for the county school district, started his first day as the interim superintendent. Joseph runs an education and leadership consulting firm, and most recently was an assistant professor at Howard University.
I just believe that leadership matters. And in this moment, all the stars are aligned for Prince George's County to do extraordinary things. We just need to focus, and we need to execute, and we need to be relentless about results. And over the course of this year, you have my commitment to do just that.
House's last day, which is this Wednesday, June 18th, coincides with the last day of school for students.
County Executive-elect Aisha Braveboy sets the record straight on whether she plans to replace Police Chief Malik Aziz. During a press conference last week, Braveboy said if his post as police chief becomes vacant, she will fill the position with someone from within Prince George's County Police Department. This comes after it was revealed that Aziz is one of 3 finalists for the Chief of Police role in Phoenix. Aziz has been leading the county police force since 2021. He was appointed by then County Executive Angela Alsobrooks.
We have one of the best, most professional police departments in the country. And I want every man, woman who serves on our department to know that they are being seen, their experience is valued, and they have an opportunity to rise to the top ranks of their department.
Phoenix officials plan to announce its new police chief in July.
Meanwhile, it was a show of military might in the nation's capital this weekend as tanks rolled down Constitution Avenue and troops marched in a grand parade. The event, marking the Army's 250th anniversary, finally came together on President Trump's 79th birthday, years after he first floated the idea following a visit to Paris. No official numbers on how many civilians attended the parade, but more than 6,000 service members took part with 128 tanks and a 21-gun salute. And crowds of No Kings protesters gathered nationwide over the weekend, protesting against the policies and actions of the Trump administration, specifically targeting what organizers perceive as authoritarian or king-like behavior. Here at home, from Laurel to Bethesda, Rockville, and D.C., thousands took to the streets countering the military parade on Saturday. Governors across the country urged for calm and vowed no tolerance for violence, while some mobilized the National Guard ahead of marchers gathering.
Well, it's tighter skies over D.C. The FAA is changing helicopter routes near Reagan National Airport after a deadly mid-air collision earlier this year. New flight paths now require helicopters to go around the airport. The FAA's updated map pushes traffic further out, adding a new Broad Creek transition to create more safe space between helicopters and commercial jets. Emergency helicopter flights are exempt from the changes. The new rules build on temporary restrictions put in place after the January collision. Aircraft must now also broadcast their location through advanced surveillance technology, with only a few exceptions. The move comes amid Senate calls for independent reviews into what went wrong in that deadly crash. And small businesses hit hard by the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge received some financial relief. The Baltimore Community Foundation, the Greater Baltimore Committee, and 3 other groups gave out $3 million in cash grants. A total of 66 grants were awarded to businesses in Baltimore City, Anne Arundel, and Baltimore counties. The money will be used to help small businesses that have lost customers and to cover the cost coming from disrupted supply routes.
Well, a stunning attack on elected leaders in Minnesota is sparking national security concerns. Police say 57-year-old Vance Bolter posed as an officer and opened fire, killing former House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband, and wounding a state senator and his wife. He was caught hiding in the woods after Minnesota's largest manhunt ever. Investigators found a hit list in his car, naming lawmakers, abortion advocates, and other public figures. The U.S. Capitol Police tell CTV News they're coordinating with agencies nationwide, but won't share security details. Prince George's County Police say there is no local threat, but they're actively monitoring the situation.
Well, Prince George's County Police have charged a Fort Washington man with murder. 23-year-old Tafari Clausel has been charged with the murder of 21-year-old Cornelius Wilson of Glenarden. Police were called to the 2800 block of Wood Willow Terrace on May 19th. That's where they found the victim suffering from gunshot wounds. He was pronounced dead on the scene. Preliminary investigation revealed the suspect and victim knew each other and were involved in an ongoing dispute. Clausel is charged with first-degree murder and related charges. He is in custody in Florida on unrelated charges, pending extradition to Prince George's. You're watching CTV News. I'm Marquette Shepard.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Still to come, local business owners were recently slapped with a hefty last-minute safety fee.
After the break, find out why and who's enforcing it. Back in a moment.
Statistics show that roughly 20 veterans die by suicide every day in the United States. And each day, over 1,000 dogs are euthanized in shelters across the country. Canines for Warriors is the leading nonprofit organization providing highly trained service dogs to veterans with PTSD and other invisible wounds of war.
Hannah and I, since we've been together, we have done so much. There's nothing I won't do now as long as Hannah's by my side. Without Hannah, I'd probably still be stuck in the living room with the curtains drawn, with my back to the wall, with probably a gun on my lap. Anybody watches this, what they can take away is that there's help out there.
The majority of service dogs from canines are rescues, and with each pairing, 2 lives are changed forever. We rescue the dog rescues the warrior. To learn more about how Canines for Warriors is saving lives at both ends of the leash, please visit caninesforwarriors.org.
$828 million people around the world go hungry every day, even though the world produces enough food to feed them. Early on, I knew I wanted to figure out better ways to get food to people who are hungry. What started out as volunteering became my life's work. What might surprise people is that this experience intertwines every day with my experience at Rotary. I've married my mission with my job, making an impact daily on this issue that I care about. And over the years, as a member of Rotary, I know I'm creating solutions. Whatever you care about, whatever's important to you, Rotary is a way to multiply the impact that you're going to have. Rotarians truly are changing the world through the work that they're doing.
Welcome back. State officials and the heads of nonprofits came together to highlight a growing problem across the country and here in Maryland.
We're talking elder financial abuse. Every day, thousands of senior citizens are targeted, and in many cases, the fraudsters are successful. But as Byron Scott reports, help is available.
Let's talk numbers. According to the FTC, in 2024, Marylanders reported more than 34,000 fraud-related complaints totaling over $98 million in losses.
Those are the recent numbers, and these are some of the people tasked with lowering them.
Our job is to ensure that these scams don't happen and work in partnership to hold those scammers accountable.
It is the launch of Protect Week in Maryland.
We are here to say loud and clear that you are not alone and help is available.
Officials warn not only is elder fraud more prevalent, it is now more sophisticated.
I received a call from Amazon in the evening, and I was made aware of the fact that someone was trying to purchase a MacBook from one of my Amazon accounts, of which I have none.
Jane Dean was targeted by scammers in February of last year.
And I was given a number to call in case we were disconnected. And that number checked out because I made sure online that that was the correct number. So this kind of built up my confidence that this was a legitimate call, aside from the fact that my caller ID said it was from Amazon.
It was not Amazon, and in the end, the fraudsters made off with $25,600.
This can happen to anybody, and they're very sophisticated. And once you get under the ether, once you lose your logical, rational mind and you're emotional and reactive, they've won. They've got you.
Protect, as in Protect Week, is an acronym. It stands for Preventing Older Americans from Financial Exploitation. It is a statewide public education campaign.
Yesterday, where my husband to me and he said, "Honey, there's someone named Lisa from Japan who wants us to know we won $5 million. We just have to click here." And we had a good laugh. But this is the kind of thing that goes on all the time.
Events aimed at keeping elders safe are planned throughout Maryland this week.
Right now in Camp Springs, Maryland, we have a shred event going on so folks can go out and shred their documents for free. Tomorrow we'll be in Ocean Pines, Maryland, and Wednesday we'll be in Washington County, Maryland with free shredding events.
For more information on upcoming events, go to aarp.org/Maryland. Byron Scott, CTV News.
Well, a political powerhouse celebrated with cake, crowds, and questions about the future. Longtime Maryland Congressman Steny Hoyer turned 86 this weekend, marking the occasion with his 44th annual bull roast at the Newton White Mansion in Mitchellville. Democrats praised Hoyer's decades of service and took plenty of swipes at Donald Trump. But the big question remains, will Hoyer run for a 24th term? He didn't say, he just smiled, cut the cake, and danced. After the roast, Hoyer told reporters, quote, "It'll be time for that," leaving the door wide open.
Yesterday morning, an electrical pole fire led to some road closures and power outages in Bladensburg. Both eastbound lanes of 57th Avenue and Annapolis Road were closed off as fire units worked the blaze. The fire was started after a transformer blew and caused the pole to ignite. Those lanes have been reopened.
Meanwhile, just days after U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. removed the 17-member Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices CDC vaccine panel, he has named 8 replacements. Kennedy's plan to oust the 17-member board has been highly criticized by doctors' groups and public health organizations. Among the 8 newly appointed members are those who were critical of COVID vaccines and pandemic-era lockdowns. One is Vicki Pebsworth. She volunteers for a group that is considered to be a leading voice of vaccine misinformation. Another one is Dr. Robert Malone. He has pushed conspiracy theories around the outbreak of COVID and vaccinations just prior to announcing his picks. Kennedy said he was going to bring great people to the panel, not anti-vaxxers. The committee was created in 1964 to make recommendations to the CDC regarding vaccines.
Juneteenth celebrations started early around the county. The city of Bowie held its 4th annual Juneteenth Jubilee Festival at Allen Pond Saturday. Festival goers celebrated with a full lineup of live music, food, and art vendors. The National Harbor will also hold their annual Juneteenth celebration on Thursday, June 19th, starting at 11 a.m. For more details, visit the website on your screen.
Salon owners in Laurel are reeling after receiving a letter that could put their business in jeopardy. Christopher McDaniel has been cutting hair at the Phoenix Salon Suite in Laurel for years. He says that letter made him second-guess leaving. The letter is a note to owners to pay a use and occupancy permit that originally cost $250 for all businesses occupying less than 2,000 square feet. The mayor of the city temporarily reduced the fee to $100.
If we are getting hit with this tax, then we will have to.
Stand by. Coming back to 1, stand by.
Now, owners have until June 30th to pay it, and we reached out to the city of Laurel for comment and have not heard back yet. And still to come on CTV News, a wholesale retailer is expanding ways to get gas.
More right after the break. Stay with us.
Coughing that doesn't go away or brings up blood, wheezing, a hoarse voice, and shortness of breath. But don't wait for signs. Find out if you're at risk. For more information, go to this website and talk to your healthcare provider about how you can win the race against lung cancer.
I knew that St. Jude was a children's hospital for cancer and hematology. I knew that no one ever received a bill from St. Jude. But I in no way understood the scope of how amazingly and how completely they take care of their patients and their families.
Join the battle to save lives by supporting St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Here at St. Jude, you don't ever have to worry about how much treatment costs. You never get a bill, ever, for any of it.
They make it so that our only battle and our only concern is taking care of him and making him comfortable, and making sure that we're there to support him in every way. Any other concern that we could have, St. Jude took care of completely.
A big win for housing and transit in Prince George's County, with state leaders breaking ground on a new project they say will transform the Blue Line corridor. Governor Wes Moore joined elected officials and developers Friday to kick off construction on Park Place at Addison Road Metro. It's a $96 million mixed-use housing and retail project in Capitol Heights. Supported by nearly $50 million in state investments, the project promises nearly 200 affordable homes and neighborhood serving retail just steps from the metro.
Because for me, my legacy is not just the policies that I get to create. The legacy is how much Black wealth I leave and help build along the way. That's what I'm going to measure my success on.
It is a promise that families in our community can live near where they work, raise their children in safe and walkable neighborhoods, and have access to the kind of amenities that every Marylander deserves, no matter where you live. Ideally, a grocery store you can walk to. Hello. Say that again. A coffee shop where you can sit with your friends and enjoy yourself. All right. Quality housing across the spectrum.
All units will be designated as affordable housing for the next 99 years. It's part of a broader vision to revitalize the corridor and boost access to jobs, housing, and transit.
Well, Zillow and Redfin are cracking down on so-called pocket listings homes that are marketed to select buyers before hitting the public multiple listing service. Both platforms say they'll no longer allow those kinds of listings to appear on their sites. Zillow rolled out new listing standards in April, saying any home marketed directly to buyers must be added to the MLS within 1 business day to stay on the site. The company says it's about fairness, arguing that if a home is being shown to one buyer, it should be available to all.
Real estate in Maryland is adapting to post-COVID trends. Across the region, developers and leasing executives are navigating a market shaped by post-pandemic consumer behavior, such as hybrid work, rising construction costs, and demands for convenience. One of the most unexpected players in the real estate game has been car washes. Specifically, subscription-based freestanding car washes have seen a boom in recent years. Industry leaders say the market is strong if you know what to build and where.
And millions of Americans are seeing their credit scores drop, tied to missed student loan payments. Federal collections have resumed, and after 90 days, delinquencies are reported to credit bureaus. Over 3 million borrowers have seen scores plunge by 100 points or more, impacting loans, interest rates, and even rentals. The Trump administration restarted collections last month, including wage and tax refund garnishments. Some say they got no warning, and with inflation and other debts, many feel stuck in a credit crunch.
A popular warehouse membership store is gearing up to open a standalone gas station on the West Coast. Costco plans to open up a gas station in Mission Viejo, California next spring. The location of the gas station will sit where an old Bed Bath & Beyond used to exist. The gas station will have 40 pumps for its Costco customers, and there will be the first ever standalone gas station for the company.
The home decor and furniture retailer At Home is filing for bankruptcy. The popular retail chain with more than 200 locations in the U.S. and their 3 right here in Maryland are joining a growing number of retailers that have filed for Chapter 11. Owned by a Texas-based company, At Home officials say they are entering Chapter 11 as part of a restructuring agreement intended to eliminate $2 billion in debt and provide $200 million in capital to aid with the restructuring process. And coming up, Simon Buggs has our Monday sports page.
That's right. What's going on in sports, Simon?
Hey everybody, and coming up next, it was a big weekend for DC Defenders fans. Find out why after the break.
Having low income can mean making tough choices. Choosing between paying for food or medication or a place to live is a reality for many people. Do you know someone who could use some extra help? Find out about the Supplemental Security Income Program, SSI. You could receive monthly SSI payments if your income and financial resources are low and you are 65 or older, or an adult or child with a disability or who is blind. SSI is money you can use to help pay for basic needs, like putting food on the table, keeping the lights on, paying the rent. It can mean new shoes for growing feet or help with medical needs. Call 1-800-772-1213 or visit ssa.gov/SSI to schedule an appointment or start to apply today. That's ssa.gov/SSI. Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
All right, everyone. Hope you dads had a good Father's Day weekend. We begin your Monday sports page with some football news, as it was a big weekend for the UFL's DC Defenders, as the team took the field against the Michigan Panthers in the championship game in St. Louis. Now the red and white started the game off well, as they were up 37-19 on the Panthers, going into halftime after a 31-point explosion in the second quarter. And DC kept their foot on the gas, scoring another 21 points in the second half to win the championship 58-34. This is DC's first championship win, and quarterback Jordan Ta'amu, who threw for almost 400 yards and was the game's MVP, spoke afterwards and touched on how it felt to win a championship in the city where it all began.
It's a huge blessing. It's crazy how God works, man. Just my first professional career in St. Louis, and to be able to play in the championship in St. Louis and to win it. And, you know, me and my parents prayed about this, and, you know, huge believers. And, you know, look what God can do. And this is a testimony to that. And just what better feeling to win than in St. Louis.
Congratulations to the Defenders, and hopefully another DC football team and my Commanders can win the big game too in 2025. And one player Washington brought in to help them accomplish that is with the trade for left tackle Laramie Tunsil. The Commanders traded for the 5-time Pro Bowler back in March to protect quarterback Jaden Daniels' blind side. And head coach Dan Quinn was asked about Tunsil recently, and he had high praise for the Ole Miss product.
Most of the time, some of the very best leaders are excellent communicators, and I felt that way with LT right from the beginning. You know, I got a chance to meet his family and what were the things in his background that made him unique, and finding out about him. Then also on the football side, you know, what are the things that, you know, he's excellent at, what are the things he wants to work on. And so as he goes through an off season, there's like such a specific plan for this is what I want to do during this time to get ready, and having that kind of process of winning. I noticed that right away.
Tunsil was just one of a few players Washington brought in to help this team become a contender in 2025. And in WNBA news, the Washington Mystics got routed by the Atlanta Dream yesterday, 89-56. The team will try to bounce back against Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky tomorrow at 8 o'clock. And moving on to the majors, the Washington Nationals will be in action tonight against the Colorado Rockies. First pitch is at 6:45. And finally, the Baltimore Orioles will be in Florida tonight, facing off against the Tampa Bay Rays. The game begins at 7:35. And that wraps up your Monday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
All right, Simon, thanks so much. Let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, we have a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Tomorrow, we get another day of showers and thunderstorms. It'll be 82 degrees. Wednesday, we're going to reach a high of 90. Storms are expected around 2 p.m. And Thursday, for Juneteenth, it's going to be hot when we reach 93 degrees. Rain is expected in the afternoon.
And for our community calendar, this Wednesday, Luminous Health is offering free preventative health care screenings at Evelyn Cole Senior Activity Center. Attendees can get blood pressure, glucose, and cholesterol levels checked. This event takes place from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. For more information, contact the center at 301-386-5525. And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.